Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much to the new subscribers that I had this week. Very kind of you. Tonight, I was thinking of talking about gender-based violence. Let's just make it simple. Violence against females, women, and children. Okay, yes, there's violence against men as well, but tonight let's just talk about the violence against women and children. Where I live, in the country that I live in South Africa, it is easier for a woman to be raped than it is to find a job. So, gender-based violence in South Africa is terribly, terribly important. The government is trying to deal with it, okay? Before, I can remember when I was young, okay, that's in the time of the dinosaurs, but you basically knew what kind of men to avoid, okay? I mean, a rapist was a guy that was sort of on the fringes of society, okay? And the guy that beat up his wife and stuff, all right, was normally a guy that drank a lot, and he was loud, and he was macho, and that kind of stuff, okay? So you were more able, it wasn't mainstream, okay? Well, yes, maybe the domestic violence, maybe there was a lot going on, but of course, my growing up was pre-internet and cell phones and all that kind of business, okay? So you didn't hear about it that often, but there was sort of stereotypical people, okay? And you could avoid those kind of people, okay? Rape and stuff like that. It was there, but not the way it is today. Today, you hear about, I mean, from all over the world, not just from South Africa. You hear about boys in sports teams, like the American football teams and that kind of business. Boys that are still at school, okay, who are joking about violating girls, all right? It almost seems to be a fashion accessory, okay? And I've had a lot of discussions about this sort of thing because I'm a great one, not a great one, but I'm a person who is very defensive of women's rights and things like that. I'm not a burn your bra and all that kind of business. No, I love being a woman, okay? I think I wouldn't be anything else. I really enjoy being a woman. I want to be considered equally to a man in the sense of when it comes to pay and when it comes to job creation. If I am equally qualified as a man for the same kind of job, I want the ability to be considered for that job, okay? That kind of business. I don't want to take a man's place. Oh, I love men, okay? I really enjoy men. So I don't want to take a man's place. You see, at the same time, I enjoy a man that I can feel safe with and that will protect me. Okay, I really enjoy that. So, no, I'm not a feminist if you look at it that way. Okay. Now, when it comes to this violence against women and children, when you look at how the male population is raised, okay, there's still families, countries, cultures, where the male population is the one that carries on the family name. Therefore, he is more important or considered more important, okay, than the female. I mean, their sons that are educated in poor families and daughters aren't, okay? So there's still that great gender difference. And when you raise a male with the belief that he is stronger, maybe he is, but I mean, it's you don't raise him with that kind of attitude, I don't think anyway. But if he's been raised to think that he's stronger and that he has more ability and that he is more important than the female in that family, okay, you're raising a very dangerous thought system. And then you put on top of the fact that, oh, you have to win at everything. You're playing cards, you got to be the winner. You're kicking a football around, you got to be a winner. You're playing basketball, you got to be a winner. You know, there's no place for losers. You're raising a person, a man, who thinks that when he goes out into that world, he's entitled to get what he wants. And if he doesn't, it's failure. Therefore, he will take it if it's not freely available. Okay? So, you're raising a person, a male, who has entitlement issues. Which doesn't really help when it comes to the way that he communicates with the female. Okay? If in that home as well there is, between the mother and the father, there is not a mutual respect and a sharing of duties and responsibilities, okay? If the father, in an argument or whatever that's happening in front of children, which it shouldn't, but they do, okay, belittles the mother, okay, or when she is really tired and she says to him, Siddharth, please, could you just finish washing the dishes? I am really exhausted, okay? And he turns around and he says, no, but that's your duty. It's not mine, okay? And that kind of attitude, you will find that the male child, okay, will then, the way that he deals with females in future or even at that present time will have those same connotations and ways, because a male child is more associated or influenced by a father, okay? He gets his direction and his instruction and his lessons and everything of how to go out into the world, how to treat females, how to treat others, okay? How to treat people that are different. He gets that from his father, from watching his father and listening to his father and that kind of business. Whereas the female child will get her instructions and lessons and things like that from the woman, from her mum, okay? And she will also get the lessons of how a man treats a woman by the way that her father treats her mother, okay? And by the way that her mother treats her father. The same with a male child. So a man that grows up, okay, to have an entitlement issue has learnt that from childhood. How we raise our children, how we communicate with our children, how we communicate as adults between each other, how we treat people outside that home environment, okay? How we speak of them inside the home, right, is so, so important, because we have got these little minds inside that home. We have the responsibility to prepare them to go out into the world as functional, how can you say, as functional, law-abiding, humble, respectable adults, okay? And if you have got a home where the gender thing is unbalanced, okay, it's almost like the man ruling over the woman, the child growing up in that, whichever sex they are, if it's a male child, they will go into the world with that outlook on life, okay, that it's a man's world and women are only good for being barefoot and in the kitchen and pregnant, okay? And they are entitled to get what they want, when they want it, and however they want, they can get it, they're entitled to that. I'm not saying that that is what causes so much rape, but what I'm saying is it's almost as if rape has now become a mainstream, almost everyday thing that people that before were never sort of looked at as a dangerous part, okay, are now, okay, becoming a danger. And yes, I do blame it on the home environment. I do blame it on the way that the parents conduct themselves, the things that are said, the way each child in that family is treated, okay? It does affect them, and it does affect the way that they deal with the outside world when eventually they get out there, okay? Now, one thing they've done in South Africa that I think is absolutely phenomenal, the government has made available counsellors, male counsellors, to go out into the rural areas and speak to men, groups of men, okay? And almost re-educate them and try and find out what it is that entices them or makes them feel entitled to. You see, the men don't see it as rape. They really don't. They see it as, I want what I want and I'm going to take it. I'm entitled to it. Yes, there are cases, okay, there are cases of these rapists that it is a power thing, okay? It's not about the sex, it's a power thing. But a lot of the mainstream rape, okay, is a sexual thing. And it is, and power as well, dominance. Okay, it doesn't matter what you say, you're a woman. I'm a man, and I will take what I want. If I want to have sex with you, I will have sex with you, even if you don't want to. Okay. Then you get the other side of the story, okay, which is the male taking advantage of a woman that is drunk or that her faculties aren't working normally, okay? That to me is just plain and out abuse. I mean, that is for me, that is the whole thing of, I want it, okay? I know you're drunk. I know that you really don't know what you're doing, okay? So that's the best time to take advantage of you. That to me is one of the most disgusting, not disgusting, I don't know how to put it, but to me it's there, for me there is nothing lower than that, okay? When you know that the woman is not, or the girl, okay, is not altogether there, whether it's through drink or through drugs or whatever it is, okay, and you take advantage of that for your own pleasure. Seriously, are you that desperate? You see, then then they blame the woman. Well, you shouldn't have gone home with him. Well, you shouldn't have been wearing those kind of clothes. Well, you shouldn't have been walking in that place. Well, you shouldn't have been riding in that car. Well, you shouldn't have been, all the things that a woman shouldn't have been doing. Why? Why shouldn't have we been doing it? Aren't we human beings? Are we that restricted, okay, that we can't go here and we can't go there and we can't wear this and we can't do this, and if we do it, then that what happens to us is okay because it's our fault. Girls, not for 1 millisecond of a millisecond of a millisecond is it your fault. And never play the victim, please. It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. It has nothing to do with you. It is the man's problem. It's not yours. Not yours in any shape or form. Not at all. Okay? There is nothing that makes blaming a woman for being raped right. Nothing. That is the man's illness. That is the man's problem. It's the man's disease. Not even a disease. It is the man's twisted problem, not yours. We have the right as women, okay, to go where we want, to wear what we want, And if we go out and we want to get drunk, we have the right to do that. Men do not have the right to abuse that and then blame us. Society blames us. That's why, do you know that 75% of rape cases in South Africa or sexual abuse cases in South Africa are not reported? Because these women know, and girls know, what they're going to go through. And they don't have the support, and they don't have the courage, because you'll find that when a girl or a woman is sexually abused and she talks to her family about it, or tells her family, okay, about it, or the family find out about it, a lot of the times the family will turn on the person who has been sexually abused and violated. Okay. You know, where women have been raped during war, that's another thing that blows my mind. Okay. Man creates war, and women and children are the first victims of it. The very women that give birth to these men that go around creating the war are the ones that are the first victims. Men, you have to get to a stage where you realize that your penis is not in control of you. You actually control it. And being a man, a whole man, means that you control your penis. Your penis doesn't control you. Okay, it doesn't have a brain, and it doesn't have legs, and it doesn't have a heart, and it is part of your body. Okay, just as your arms and your legs and your everything else is, it's a part of your body. You can control your arms and legs. You can control your urination. You can control your bowel movements. You can control whether you eat or not. You can control whether you cry or not. But for some unknown reason, men cannot control their penises. Look, I'm talking in general, okay? So don't go ballistic. You have to learn that the time of going forth and populating the world is over. There's enough population in the world, okay? And you have to actually mature and become an adult mentally and emotionally, okay, and realize that you are in control of every single member of your body. Okay. Because it's got to a stage where it almost seems out of control. And women are getting to the stage, hopefully, where they are going to start standing up for themselves and claiming themselves back. Because we've been lost for a long time. And us as mothers have to teach our little girls, okay, that they are human beings. They are special. They are just as important as the males. They can be who they want to be. Okay? There's no restrictions stopping them from being that. We have to make our little girls comfortable in their little girl's skin so that they grow up to be women that are comfortable in their skins and know that nobody has the right to come in their space and invade it just because they're a man. We've lost something somewhere, some connection. Okay, and we have to get it back. We have to claim our skins back as women. Don't forget something. Those men wouldn't be in this world if we hadn't given birth to them. So they can rant and rave against us as much as they want, okay? But without us, they wouldn't be there ranting and raving. So we've got to teach our daughters that they are important, just as important, that they have a place in society. Yes, there are differences, but that difference isn't something that makes us any less of a person. It just makes us who we are. And we must be proud of who we are. We've got to learn to respect ourselves again, because we have lost a lot of respect for ourselves. And please, when you see somebody, another woman, who is suffering from sexual abuse and being sexually violated, and she has taken the courage to report it, support her. Don't judge her. Don't mock her. Don't look down on her. She's a woman. It could happen to you. Just remember that. It could so easily happen to you. Support her. Encourage her. Be there for her and let her know it. You know, the world is difficult the world is difficult enough for a woman. Us women make it even more difficult for each other. And we don't need men really to destroy us, because we destroy ourselves. We destroy each other amongst ourselves. And we have to stop it. We have to get to a stage where we know that it's not our fault. And stand up to it. These men have to be held accountable. No man has the right to invade your body if you have not invited him. And that's another thing. We depend so much on, oh, well, she didn't say no. Well, she was flirting with me. You know what? All this expectations, there we go again. Expectations. Expectations are a mist. Because expectations are in your head, nobody else's. So what we have to do is we have to voice. We have to voice. You go for a date with a man, okay? The date is over. It's time now to go home. And you invite him over for coffee. So now, his expectation is, ooh, she's inviting me for coffee. I'm going to jump between the sheets with this one. But no, you're just inviting him over for coffee because you enjoy his company, you're having a good conversation. You don't want the night to end right then, okay? You're not inviting him over to get into your bed. You're inviting him for coffee and a conversation. And I'll tell you something. When I say to him, right, how about coming upstairs for a cup of coffee? And it's only coffee, dear. We've had a nice evening, okay? We're getting along well. I enjoy the conversation. And I just like it to carry on a little bit longer, okay? Nothing more than that. Coffee, conversation. Do you want to accept it or not? We have to learn to be outright, to be direct. Because there's no fairy tales. Oh, he's just going to come up for a coffee. That's okay. Without me saying exactly what that coffee means. Because in his mind, going out for a coffee means, going upstairs into my home for a coffee means we're going to get between the sheets. So, before anybody can jump to any conclusions or anything else, I'm going to be straight out and I'm going to be direct. I'm going to squash that right in the beginning. Then he has a choice to come up or not. And another thing, ladies, another thing that is so important. When you are out with somebody, if you have a little niggling inside you that says, this isn't right, just a tiny little one, it can be there whispering so softly. Please listen to it. Don't invite him up for coffee. Don't even climb into his car and take a ride home with him. You either call a friend, you call your parents, or you call Uber. Listen to your womanly intuition. It can save you a world of hurt. Just because you're going out with him doesn't mean you automatically trust him. He's got to earn your trust. He's got to earn your trust. Getting all googly-eyed and weak in the knees and Goldilocks well, not Goldilocks, but Cinderella or whatever it is that is going on, okay? It's fairy tales. They belong in books. It's not real life. You know nothing about him. You are seeing what he wants you to see, not who he really is. You want me to climb into a car at night alone with you? Okay, I've got to trust you. I've got to trust you. That you will take me home and you will do it safely. I've got to trust you. I'm not just going to jump into a car, okay, alone with a man that I've maybe had 1 or 2 dates with, and that I really know nothing about, except what he has allowed me to know, which could be the complete opposite of who he is. Stop trusting. Trust is not a gift. It's the same as respect. It's not a gift. Trust and respect are earned. They are not given in a little present box tied up with a bow, okay? And the way that you learn to trust somebody is by finding out about them, looking who their friends are, seeing how they interact with those people, listening to what they tell you about other relationships, about their family, thinking, is that really believable? Don't take everything for gospel. Don't. Because remember something, he's there to impress you. He's there to get you to give him what he wants. Okay? So be aware and be outspoken. Don't leave things to chance. Don't leave things to expectations. Be outright and speak. Say, look, this is just a coffee. It's not an invitation into my bed. It's just a coffee. Accept it or not. We have to stand our grounds. We have to protect ourselves. And we have to use the wisdom and the intuition that as women we have, that protects us when we have children, that protects our children when we have children. We've got to listen into that. And we've got to stop, please, stop blaming ourselves when we are sexually violated. It is not our problem. It is not our fault. We didn't ask for it. We didn't even want it. And if you didn't shout, stop it, stop it, stop it, while it was happening, that's not your fault either. And that if you judge a woman because she didn't say stop, 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 or no, 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 okay, while the man was raping her, then you are just being another thorn in her flesh. None of us know how we would react at that moment. None of us. We can say, oh, we do this and we do that and we do the rest. But in reality, when it happens, we might cower in a corner and never say a word or never even try and fight the man off. So don't judge a woman by how she conducts herself when it is happening. Support her, uplift her, encourage her, remind her every second that it's not her fault. She's not to blame. And this has gone on way too long. Oh, people will complain. Anyway, may your gods go with you. Have a fantastic week. And start leaving some comments. Not nasty ones, please. I really don't have time for that. But constructive. Okay. Have a great week. Be kind to each other. Uplift each other. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.